No, sing the tune isn't made up. Just sing the tune isn't And there we go. Hi chaps, see I've got my hair tied up this evening. That is because I have been told off in the past for not, having hair in the way. It's my hair, it's my food, only I'm going to be eating it. Even so, it doesn't look good, does it? But it looks even worse tied up, because it's, at the moment, it looks like I've got no hair, and then suddenly a bit just stuck on the top, and I've realised my microphone is over there, so the sound is not going to be that fabulous. Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. Just 1 second while I place said microphone in place there. There we go. Now, wearing a microphone works much better whilst wearing a shirt because you can see it. Whereas a jumper, you don't want it stuck on there because it looks stupid and because it will fall off. Whereas a shirt, you can just clip it on the edge or any kind of item of clothing like that. You can see it's a microphone, but it's like the item of clothing, I'm stumbling already. The item of clothing was designed for sticking microphones on. Imagine that. Who knew? I didn't, and I still don't. And tonight, for all of those that are interested, a feast. Well, not actually a feast, but a very cheap and simple curry. One I've made loads of times, but this, not only that, not only have I got some coriander there, not only have I got a green pepper, yes, and not only have I got a lemon and some cheapo mince. I'm going to make a curry that I've made loads of times before, but the point of this also is that this is the start of a big video for this channel I'm going to do at the end of this week, and I'm going to tell you all about it now because it's rather exciting. I'm going to think of more ideas like this, exciting ideas that hopefully will bring more and more people into the channel, make it worthwhile watching, bring up some channel members, and then of course get the channel monetized. I didn't want to be monetized on this channel. As I see it, although I don't put a great deal of effort into this channel, this is the channel that will be bigger than the other one, probably within a few years. I reckon. That's my prediction. Anyway, my idea for this week is going to be a food challenge, a cheap food challenge. And when I say cheap food, I don't mean food that's not good. I mean food that doesn't cost a lot of money. Because what I noticed in the past couple of years, the price of food has really rocketed. There was a point only a few years ago, you'd go to Aldi or Lidl and you could fill the trolley up and it cost like £20. Now you could fill a basket up and it'll cost 60. Obviously that really does depend on what you're putting in your basket or your trolley. But there's been a huge difference in what food actually costs. However, maybe there's a way around this. Maybe if me and anyone else who's interested got back into actually cooking, rather than just picking things off the shelf that you bung in the oven, stick in a pan, or just simply open up and munch your way through whilst watching Love Island. Give me the shivers. So my challenge is going to be a whole week, and I'm going to spend a maximum of £30 on feeding myself for a whole week. If I can do that, I'll do it again, and I'll try and do it for less. I mean, obviously there's a limit, unless you're just going to spend all week fasting, which I'm not prepared to do, because that would be stupid. There's my idea anyway. I hope you like it. And so tonight, as we have here, I'm going to explain this a bit better. But we've got this mince, which I think costs 500 grams. I think it's like £2.39 or something like that. A pepper. You can get these much cheaper, but that probably works out about 40 pence. The coriander works out at about £1. That very big onion works out at about 50 pence. So I haven't even got the cheapest of the cheap at the moment. So what's that? Where did I get to? At £3.30 to £3.40. We'll call it £5.50. Plus there's going to be some other bits in there as well. But they're not exactly going to amount to a great deal. So the spices, for example, when you buy a big bag like that, and that's not even that big. This bag, I can't remember what it was cost. I can't remember what it costed. But anyway, a small bag of turmeric may cost, say, 80, 90 pence. This one that's got, well, an awful lot more may only cost twice the amount. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my box of spices. Ginger. Should have bought it in a big packet. I don't want anything else. Okay. Methy. Whole fenugreek seeds. I'll have some of that. This is a curry I'm going to make without needing anybody else's spice mix, of course. So everything will be either just spice mixes or actual ingredients. There's going to be nothing pre-prepared. And there we go, whole black peppercorns as well. I am a fan of something just a bit on the spacey. Spacey? Kevin Spacey. Hi, I'm Kevin Spacey. Nice to meet you. Hey, you didn't know I was a Cockney, did you? Well, I'm not, that's why. Probably should get on and do this, shouldn't I? I'm going to spend an awful long time having the chat. I'll get around to talking to you in a minute. But first of all, let's dump this whole packet of mince in there. Anyway, the point being is that I'm hoping to make here, right, I said £30 for a week, so that's less than £5 a day, isn't it? That's not much. I'm going to make something here that's going to cost about a £5, and I reckon it'll do for more than one day. The only problem with like food, eating, stuff like this, and as some of you may well know, some of you know me quite a bit better, but I went quite a way off carbs, not eating carbs anymore. So no bread, no pasta, no rice, all the kind of stuff that helps bulk up this kind of thing. Whilst that's on the go there, I am going to quickly have a read through some of the comments and see who is actually here. So what do I need? I need my reading glasses, and I need to simply sit down. And not sit too close to that because you can hear it fizzling, blubbling away. And, oh, well, in tradition, if I can get 27 likes in my live stream tonight, I shall have another cup of tea. Let me see, who's here then? Carol C. What came first, the chicken or the egg? That old thing again, well, it's the egg. The guy from SETI Alpha 5 is here. Peter P. Greenwood is here, moderating as usual. Evening, chaps and ladies, and hello, Mustard. Captain Mustard in the kitchen with the lead pipe, my guess. What lead pipe? Not the spatula then. No, not the frying pan. The frying pan of sweet dreams, says Peter P. Is that Boaty's sweater? No, I have some of my own clothes, believe it or not. Oh, that's on just a bit too high there. I don't want it to just suddenly be burnt. Half the trouble with actually trying to do a live stream and cooking at the same time is that sometimes things cook a bit more quickly than I want them to do. So, come on, go into some smaller bits. I'll just turn that down slightly, just while I spend a few minutes seeing exactly who is here. Braid, what's the soup? What's the soup? Oh, Greenwood is here as well. Mustard's wearing a Dijon jumper. Yeah, because it's Dijon coloured, isn't it? What's for sup? Right, sup. It's going to be for tomorrow, actually. Although I might have a little bit tonight, which will put me at a slight disadvantage to trying to spend only £30 for the whole week. But I'm sure I will manage. And smashing pistons. Oh, cool. Ooh. What's he making tonight? Cheese on toast? No. No bread for me, Simon, I'm afraid. Michael Nelson. Opinions on Viral. I don't know what that is, actually. He's a lovely Simon. Simon is a lovely, lovely man. Yep. He has discovered that wearing a tie is so last year. Jumper getting down with the kids. How is everyone doing? And we can all answer collectively. Probably okay. Name Me -1 is here. Hello. Love Island. Ew. I've only ever watched 5 seconds of that, says the Greenwood, and it was by accident because I hit the wrong channel. Oh, not a fan then? No. Traitor's more relevant, but still, So it was the first thing that popped into my head. I've never watched it either. Of course I haven't. Could you imagine me watching Love Island? Oh, there's a good question. Is there anybody on here that actually secretly likes something as bad as that? Or even worse, Anton Deck? Went down to my local curry house, says a braid, my Punjab, and the only letters illuminated on the sign was poo. Doesn't fill you with confidence. Mustard has nicked Lord Summersail's pull on heck. Thank you, Mighty Cat Mods. Hey up, usual suspects and everything else, says Gaz on a Trike. Which favourite film's that? I'm kind of going through these a bit quickly, aren't I? It's not like me. Mirror World again. Oh. You've already had, right. You already had at £5, might as well get a kebab. Well, no, because a kebab, let's talk about this in a second. Remind me to get back to it. You're good at that. Okay. But kebabs, no. I'll come back to that as soon as I catch up with these comments. Mark Passad is here. Hello, Mark Passad. And Bad Books as well. Yeah, no carbs, just injectors. Very good, Simon. Well done indeed. I can smell it from here. On a cooking note, we're getting bits more au fait with air fryers. Haven't burnt out for hours. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Very good. I've seen you for a little while. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Emma Lemon. Hello, aye, Captain. Air fryers are the dog's danglies. I haven't got one. Oh, I've got one. I've got one at work that's been there for about 4 years. Unused. I like Neighbours. Watched since 1980s. Oh, Stratospherian is here. Hello, Stratospherian. See, you are a channel member. I'm sure you said you weren't. Big Brother is my tacky program of choice. I don't care. I love it. Is that Kylie? I don't think Kylie will still be here. Right. So, thank you very much for your patience there, and I shall do some other necessaries now. Right. So to get back to Name Me -1's comment there. Now, in this area, of course, not Littleborough, but Rochdale, fast food is very, very cheap. Very cheap indeed. And it makes you wonder, how do they do it so cheaply? What is the point in making your own food when you can buy it at that price? £5, The likes of Istanbul, for example, you could have yourself a big shawarma, enough to more than fill you up for, I think, £5.50 it is. A few years back, it was less, of course. There's a place on Wellick Lane called Carn Rotti that I used to love going to because the smell of the curry there was just, well, I mean, I think it would make anyone want a curry, even if they don't normally like curry. But the question is, as we've just found there, why? Why so cheap? Could be a couple of reasons. One of them could be that when you're buying in bulk, it's easy enough to knock stuff like this out really cheaply. The other could be, if you're not eating it yourself, you're not going to be too concerned by the actual quality of the goods. And the other thing is that although a kebab is enough to fill you up rather nicely, it's not going to last you all day. You're still going to want something else to eat later on. I could easily eat a kebab for lunch, but I could also easily eat some breakfast first. I could easily have like 4 eggs and then a few hours later have a kebab. Or even worse, even more like it, what I used to do, toast in the morning. 2 pieces of toast wouldn't be enough. 4 would do it. So let's say 4 pieces of toast. Again, you cook it at home. It's not particularly expensive, is it, toast? Especially if you buy the cheap bread. If you buy the Warburton's bread or buy some sort of nice bread, then it could very easily end up getting expensive. But then the problem with that, of course, is that toast will leave you hungry again within a couple of hours. So you could easily eat a whole kebab. So you could easily spend £5.50 on a cheap kebab, or about that price going to the chippy. Because that's, you know, that £5 is the absolute bottom. The cheapest I can find to eat from fast food would probably be the international chippy with their samosas. They are cheap. But getting it so brings the question up, how do they do it so cheaply? Is there something going on that you don't know about? And I'm not going to speculate particularly. Anyway, so there we go. Breakfast, toast, lunch, kebab. Surely by the time 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock's coming around, you're going to be hungry again. I certainly would be. And then in the evening, that food I'm talking about now is what you'll end up eating. So I reckon by doing this, it's going to cost about £5 less. £5 less. We're managing to go to the supermarket, the cheapo supermarket, practically every day, and it's costing about £30. About £30. So why? Why it costs so much? What am I buying? I don't know. How am I making such bad decisions? I don't buy stuff that isn't particularly good for me either. I never have done. I don't buy treats. I don't buy chocolate. I don't buy crisps. Well, I don't buy them. I don't eat them. So, on that assumption, name me -1, or anybody else that thinks, well, actually, why don't you just go and buy a kebab? Who reckons they can eat fast food for a £5 a day? Who reckons? Of course, I have the added inconvenience of actually having to make the stuff. But on another point here is that I know exactly what is going into it. Except for, well, I mean, I don't know what conditions the meat was kept in before it was turned into meat. Coriander, that's actually a treat. Normally I wouldn't bother. But sometimes you just want to make something as good as possible to give yourself an idea of how nice you can have food whilst it doesn't really cost anything. And so far, I mean, consider that's a pan full of stuff. There's no way I'm going to eat that in one go. The best I could do, the quickest I could scoff this lot, would be in 2 really big munching sessions. And since I've been eating more meat and eggs and things, I've needed to eat a lot less. I haven't really felt particularly hungry a lot of the time. So I'll hope you'll enjoy my challenge that I will embark upon this week. Will I win? Will I win? Will I fail? Or will I succeed? Do your bets now, I reckon. Where was we up to with these comments? Oh, right, yes. Right, I say. Oh, very good, well done. Right, thank you very much. Simon's going, I think, by the looks of it. Have a good one, folks. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Simon. Mustard, stratospherian is not the same person as stratospherical. yeah, I was confused, clearly. And also Peter P's pointing that out as well. Carol C says that Kylie, but she did make a comeback when they thought it was finishing. We can't go too far with this conversation, can we? Any stray cats in Rochdale? Asks Gaz on a track. I'd imagine so. We're talking about meat now. See quite a lot of cats actually, just happily knocking around. So yesterday, one came to the door. I just got back from being out with the dog, rather. And this cat wanted to come in the house. It was like really friendly. It's almost like it was too friendly for a real cat. But what would the dog think of that? Couldn't let that happen, obviously. Amazon shows it now, 4 days a week. I wonder what it shows. Plenty of garlic. Yep. Carol C's never had a kebab. Well, you don't know what you're missing. They are really good, depending on where you get them from. Neither me, I'm a veggie. Well, yes, lots of people are vegetarians. I had a go at being a vegetarian when I was about 30. I just found I lost too much weight. I've had food on a stick, which is also called a kebab. It can be, yeah. Thanks, matron. I got confused. I didn't know I didn't know there was a stratospherical around. Right. He's mainly on. Right. Okay, that's okay. He's mainly on Project Nigel and possibly big in the 90s live stream, Stratospherian. How many meals is Captain Mustard making? Well, I'm making one with a view to eating it possibly 3 times, all by itself. Hope you had mustard. I sometimes put mustard in something like this. Oh, the dog's here.
I think she just wanted to see you.
Oh, hello, dog.
She's been sat down the floor for 5 minutes.
Oh, do you want to stay in here?
Just send her back in if she wants to come in.
Okay. That was a lot of onions. Actually, Carol, it was 1 onion. But it was just a very big onion indeed. Normally, I'd have a bag of small onions. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful thing. Stratospherian has just gifted 5 memberships. Woohoo! Oh, I've got one. That's a shame. Peter Acton has been gifted a channel membership, which is wonderful. Someone called Project Nigel has also been gifted one, which isn't really fair. Jimmy Quinn, and that is fair because Jimmy's a regular here. Carlos Fandango's Super Wide Wheels was gifted a membership, and Ashley Stewart as well. Thank you very much, Ashley Stewart. That's really very kind of you. Thank you very much. Can I do a like on that? Can I do a like on it? I don't know what. No, just right. Don't look like I can actually. That's a shame. What a lovely thing. Thank you very much. I only have a couple of members only videos on this channel, but as the channel members build up, I will be doing more members only stuff, and then videos that eventually just become members only, depending on the circumstance. Is he turning into Captain Onion? Asks Emma Lemon. The difference between onions and mustard, though, is that you don't add mustard to everything you eat. Whereas, when it comes to cooking, unless it's like porridge, you don't tend to make a lot without onions. Onions are the base of most cooked food. A lot of the time, I actually prefer to cook the onions first and then liquidize them, so you end up with a sauce. However, if you cook it for long enough, they just dissolve into kind of a mush anyway, and then you don't need to worry about it. That won't be happening tonight, though. As I already mentioned, we need some garlic, don't we? Garlic. Garlic's got a lot cheaper recently. A big clove like that in Lidl, 39p. And obviously I'm not going to use the whole lot. I've got some ginger. That piece of ginger is probably about 20p. And of course I'm not going to use all of that either, because you don't need to use much ginger. You don't need to use any if you don't want to do. But if you like me, and you know it's good for you, you have it. Living on meat and eggs alone, meat, eggs, dairy products, it sounds like it might end up being really boring, but actually, I found it not to be a problem. Because you find that you get a bit bored of eating eggs, but then you go something like 6 hours without an egg, and you have an egg, and it's like, wow, this is lovely. I do like eggs. Plus, the amount of things you can do with just a bit of meat, unless you're going like a proper carnivore and having nothing but meat and water and salt. But I'm not sure I see the point of that entirely. Oh gosh. Oh, that's horrible tickly cough. Did you know though, the carnivore diet, where you eat just beef, because you're not it's not onions. It's not onions. I've just got a bit of a nasty a bit of a nasty cough on the go that I've been trying to not let out. And the longer you avoid letting it out, the more it builds up and just makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so beef has all of the vitamins and minerals that you actually need, and that's why you can get away with not having any orange juice or anything like that. But I actually want to enjoy eating food, not just eat it because I need to keep myself alive. When I was about 20, it probably would have suited me though. But I used to hate eating. I really did. Sounds a bit dramatic, hate eating, but it was just an inconvenience to me. And I never felt like it. And so then with that, I just found it to be immensely irritating. Right, there we go, some garlic. Chopped up with the knife. The ginger, I'm actually going to use, where's it gone? I'm going to use the grater. I'm just going to grate a bit of ginger off into this, I think. Or, then again, I might cut a few bits and have like just what is going to be probably about 3p worth of this chunk of ginger into little pieces. I love the smell of onions and garlic cooking. So these are the things, and of course that go into this that make this kind of food. Right. Black pepper, good. Fenugreek, that's good. Ginger, excellent. Coriander's good. Turmeric, very good as well. You find that all these spices are actually very good for your health, which is another good reason to actually have them. What about tomatoes though, eh? Chopped tomatoes. Now, ideally it would be nice to just use some fresh tomatoes. If we really want to get good at this kind of thing, what I would do is pop into the supermarkets late at night when they're reducing stuff. You always see the same kind of people in the supermarket late at night with a trolley full of reduced things. Yeah, it's quite savvy, but when you feel a bit rude, do you feel a bit embarrassed by that? Would you feel embarrassed by doing that? Or would you actually think, people are looking at me and thinking, you're much smarter than I am because I didn't think of doing that? There must be many people who decide what they're eating and what is actually going to be cheap at the time. That means that you're going to eat an awful lot of crap as well. I'm going to wait for this to go because I want to cook this nice and slowly so those onions do properly caramelize. Congrats on your membership project, Nigel. Hope the car will enjoy the membership. I'm sure he will. His lovely little office at the moment. Yeah, thank you from me again, Stratospherian. I almost called you stratospherical then, and then that would have been confusing, wouldn't it? Captain, the kebabs that Boaty often had from his Istanbul when you and I had for lunch always looked the business. They were the business. But here's another thing, actually. Here's another thing I'm going to get to. Which is quite important to me. And that is that one day, and I really love Istanbul. I love the food there. It's very, very good. I asked the man who I think owns it whether he uses ghee as the oil, and he went, "Oh no, so, no, we use vegetable oil." I thought, and any of these vegetable oils are like very, very bad. They're very bad for you. They're seed oils cause all sorts of problems within your body. And personally, I've found that going nowhere near them has certainly helped me feel a little bit more sprightly. So yeah, no. Butter, olive oil, or beef tallow, or lard, all fine. Seed oils, no. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm not really keen on going for another takeaway. Do you have egg and bacon for breakfast? Asks Carol. Sometimes, yeah. Normally I just have some eggs. What I usually would do, the most convenient thing to do is boil some eggs. Then put them back in the cardboard tub. I can bung that in my briefcase without spilling anything. And as I get a bit hungry, I'll just eat a few. And then pretty much the rest of the day, not that hungry. Odd as it may be, I don't really eat eggs by themselves, says Gazna Trike. Only started eating fried egg about 5 years ago. Don't like boiled or scrambled or omelette. That's Now, I've met you guys on a trike, and you're not like, you know, that younger man. It's not like you're a teenager. So it's a very, very long time to go through life without even having eggs. So only beef, no pork. No, Carol. It's there are people who have the beef diet, so they eat only beef. They won't eat pork or anything else. It's just beef. The only way you could have that diet and it be okay would be beef. You couldn't do it with pork. I'm an egg slut, says Aidfried. Greenwood says, no shame in trying to get a bargain. Food prices are climbing all the time and people's wages aren't rising much to match it. Love a yellow or orange sticker item. Yeah, there's no shame in it. There's no shame. It has just amused me sometimes when you see someone that basically has gone in there at just the right time and filled the trolley up. Because the trouble with that then is you're filling the trolley up with stuff that you're probably never going to get around to eating. And you're buying it just because it's cheap. Mustard, a week since you asked out of the blue if I were some of... Hang on. Mustard, a week since you asked out of the blue... right. If some of the Boaties viewers eat walnuts regularly. What was the background of the question? I eat walnuts and almonds almost daily. I don't know. I just like to ask random questions because you'll find you're doing a live stream. It's very easy to get confused by a question, so I like to make it worse. But what is it I find walnuts taste like sometimes? Oh, mustard. That's it. Yeah, that's what it was. Eating a walnut. I thought, doesn't that have taste of mustard? This. Also hazelnuts. Well, I buy like a bag of mixed nuts. So you have walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, which I'm not keen on, and cashews. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. I don't really want you to hear this too loud. So. Yes, I've got a cold. Oh. Feel nice and settled in there now. No desperate need to keep spinning it around everywhere. Before having kids, the ex-Mr. Lemon and I would go to Sainsbury's half an hour before closing for the reduced stickered items, says Emma Lemon. We got amazing bargains like sides of salmon and quality steaks for 50 pence. Yeah, that is good. The thing is, especially with meat, they can't sell it the next day, so they may as well get something for it. And you may as well just eat it. You may as well, hadn't you? Is Wilma happy now? Yes, I think so. She just came in. She's wanted to come and see me. She's not seen me for 25 minutes and was obviously a bit distressed by the idea of it. Eat eggs in cake or whatever. Just never felt like the texture. Yep, 59, so I'm hoping for my 80th. I'll be up for poached eggs. The texture of eggs, yeah, I can understand that raw. It's easy enough to find some things you just don't like the texture of. Probably brought back from the kids going back to school. Not sure where we're up to there with that, Carol. The cold. Oh, right, a cold. Ah, right, I see. Sorry. Yeah, it is sort of, actually. I've not had a cold for quite a while, actually. There are apps called Olio and Too Good To Go where you can save food waste by buying a surprise box of items that were just about to go out of date. I have heard of that before, actually. Makes it a bit more tricky when there's a whole load of things that you just don't really eat any longer. Then again, now, the average person on the street may see what I'm doing here, what I'm cooking, and think, oh, is that what you're going to eat? Isn't that a bit boring? Isn't that a bit dull? Don't you find you get a bit bored just eating all that kind of thing and not anything else after a while? Well, what does the average person eat? How much variety do they have? Probably not much more, maybe even less, come to think of it. Many people just don't really even develop much of a palate for food, so they just eat the brown stuff and that's it. They just eat chips, they just eat burgers, chicken nuggets. We would fill the freezer. Yes. I used Olio when I had no money and no food. It was amazing. Oh look, everyone's disappeared. Must be thinking I'm about to go. I'm getting better views when I'm not talking to you. I'm just stood up there, aren't I? Let's have a mix up. Have a little mix up of the stuff in the pan to stop it sticking to the bottom. Have a mix up. Have a mix up. Have a mix up of the stuff to stop it from sticking to the bottom. There we go. There's a song for everything. Now it's time as well to start to add some other ingredients. I'm just going to see now whether yes, there is something I've forgotten, something that I really do very much like. Where's it gone? Oh, the glasses nearly fell off onto the floor. There it is. Cumin seeds. Probably going to make this exact thing again for the start of the video that starts tomorrow, just so I can show exactly what I'm eating. But we're going to have that many cumin seeds. As you can't see it, I'll have to explain. That is about 1.5 teaspoons fenugreek. We're going to have, whoa, too much. Oh yeah. Well, it's going to be very, very curry-like curry then. Okay, I may have discovered a happy accident there. Black peppers, black peppercorns. Black peppercorns are really good when they've been cooked in for quite a while. So about 1 teaspoon of that. Many people would probably use just fenugreek, ground fenugreek, curry powder basically, and that's it. Bit of ginger, because that's a bit of fresh ginger as well, because a bit of ginger powder, about 1/2 teaspoon. Normally I don't even bother with that. It's normally I don't even mention what kind of quantities we're going to be getting. Coriander. Coriander is very easy not to get wrong because it's. I wouldn't say you can't put too much in, but it's a bit difficult to put too much in. So let's say there actually that's about 3 teaspoons of coriander. How about some mustard seeds? Quite like to put some cloves in as well, can you think of it? But cloves, about 1/4 of a spoon. Cloves are very good for you. Not keen on cardamom pods particularly. Also exceedingly good for you is turmeric. Good for joints and stuff like that. Makes everything nice and yellow. Got about 1.5 teaspoons of those. Right. Shall I bother with some cloves? There we go. There was a point where I just didn't even bother with doing my own spice mixes. But they are just sort of knocking this together and seeing how it works. But probably, let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Don't overdo it at all. About 20 years ago, I was making curries and I'd stick a lot of spices like that together in a jar and mix it with some oil. And it was all a bit random, and I found that whatever I did, it was never as good as using a spice mix. It was never as good, but these days I'm finding it is. So whether it is just you end up with some magic touch that you just don't know how it happens, that appears to be the case. And I'm not complaining because, like I said, this works out so much cheaper to do it this way. Maybe then, I remember those kind of quantities because that is about right. I shall let you know how well that worked out. Right, let's crank the heat up a bit again. We've told off for this before. Told off for putting the pepper in once the tomatoes go in, but I prefer it that way. I prefer you put the pepper in during the simmering time, so it cooks slowly. You don't lose too much of the pepper taste. Whereas if you actually fry the pepper, it just goes all slimy and doesn't really work too well. Not for me, anyway. I'm not so keen. Another thing that I would normally quite like in something like this would be a bit of soy sauce. Soy sauce is a great addition, except that it's another one of those things that's just overly processed. When you're trying to avoid stuff that's processed, that makes it rather difficult. Nothing wrong with canned tomatoes. Let's have a look on the ingredients. Is it just tomatoes, or is there something else in there? Because you can bet if there's a whole load of other things in there, I'll probably end up avoiding buying them again in the future. Tomatoes, alright, 70%. Tomato juice, acidity regulator, and citric acid. Don't think there's too much of a problem with that, really, then. Who else has been here to leave a comment and then we'll go off? The only thing I don't like is raw sliced mushrooms, says Carol. That my sister gave me in a salad. Yeah. I'm probably with you. Then again, I'm not really keen on cooked mushrooms either myself. Gaz and Trike agrees, raw mushrooms are definitely something I do not want in my mouth. They squeak. Lots of things squeak that you eat, though, don't they? I think you're eating mice, not mushrooms, says Gaz on a trike. I like cooking mushrooms because they scream when they're almost done. Oh, Carl Davis is here. Hello, Carl Davis. Good to see you, mate. I'll be seeing Carl quite soon. I had steak and ale pie, broccoli, carrots, cabbage and peas, and gravy for my tea. That sounds good. Sounds good. Nothing wrong with some proper green veg. I like them a lot. In fact, I was going to do some soup. Not tonight, but I might do some green soup. Because as well as meat, eggs being really good for you, so are green veg. So how about this? A meaty sprout soup. A meaty sprout soup. That could go two ways. It could end up being horrible, or it could end up being really surprisingly tasty. I'm going to cook that. I'm going to cook meaty sprout soup on Wednesday. I'm going to plan ahead a little bit with this, otherwise it'd be very easy just for it not to work out and I'll end up eating some bread. Oh, I'll tell you what though, I have thought, right, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, you see. Yesterday, my girls wanted burgers. So I bought some of this meat, bought some burger buns, did them burgers. Are you having some? No, I don't like it. I don't think it's good for you. So I'm letting them eat it, but I'm not eating it myself because it's going to take a little bit of talking around, getting them out of eating such things. But over here in the the stainless steel thingy, there is some bread that I've made. So that will be, of course, a sourdough that I would actually eat a little bit of. Let's tip in these tomatoes. I like to get the pan nice and hot around the edges so you actually make the tomatoes sizzle. I also have here a few bird-eye chilies left over from the other week. There's not very many. So there comes another problem. I need more chili than that. I need a lot more. But I do have in the fridge some Naga chili paste left over. Let's get back to some of these comments, eh? I was up to Carl Davis, wasn't I? Like my wife at Greenwood. Broccoli and Stilton soup. Yes. Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Oh, I'm inspired by that, yes. There's nothing like green cheese, blue cheese rather. A request from the Greenwood. Mustard, do a really good, maybe spiced soup for a live stream or video and send Boaty the link. He needs lots of ideas for his new health regime, otherwise he'll be on half a cup of soup a day. Cup of soups aren't healthy, are they? Look, Boaty and I have got a very, very different idea on how to eat healthily. Maybe he'll change his mind, but I'm not going to be changing mine. But I really do not think things like cup of soup are the answer. Not at all. And if you know this man, you'll also know that he doesn't eat cheese, he doesn't have any kind of dairy products, just butter. Just butter. And that's only been a recent thing, because up until fairly recently, he was having that blended stuff that's got rapeseed oil in it, which is actually really not good at all. So, I could do that, but I don't think he'd touch it. We have had this idea of having a cooking challenge for quite a while where we cook for each other, but knowing what us two are like, we'd deliberately not like it, just to try and upset each other. Actually, that's not entirely true. That's just what he'd do. On request, though, I quite like that. I quite like that idea. More tomatoes, please. And then what you must do with your your tin of tomatoes, is you go and fill it up with water, so you don't waste any of it. When we get to the point of this actually becoming a bit sticky again, I want to just put the water in there with the rest of the tomato, and it's actually almost there anyway. Really, that's quite stodgy looking, isn't it? It's not. This is going to be quite a runny curry. Oh, there's the other thing as well. Now, let's bust some myths here. People think eggs make you fart. I've found the opposite. If you're eating eggs but not eating all the other things, then you don't fart. I've not farted once in this live stream, and that was pretty much one of my specialities, was farting. Now, next then, we want coriander stalks. So, I'm going to cut these as fine as I possibly can. You may have noticed I actually sharpened my knife as well before I got started, because if you've got a really sharp knife, you're less likely to cut yourself. It's true. I mean, you're more likely to cut yourself if you do cut yourself. You're more likely to cut yourself a lot worse, but you're less likely to cut yourself in the first place by having a sharp knife. Now here's a trick I learned. Cut your stalks up like that. They add an awful lot to the flavour of the curry. But the other thing is, you should wash it, because you can end up with quite a lot of grit in there. Chewing on grit's not particularly pleasant. So rinse it out. The smell of coriander. I'm not overly bothered about the leaves myself, and as somebody pointed out to me a while back, coriander tastes a bit like washing up liquid. Yeah, it does. It can do. The leaves can taste like washing up liquid. There we go. Right, so now we're a bit more liquidy and a lot more greeny. I didn't actually cut those stalks up quite as well as I meant to do, but that's fine. I want a bit more of this in there as well. And we're going to have half of this pepper, because the whole one's too much. Has anyone grown peppers or chilies? I have. I'd like to do them again. I had a long pot. It was a deep pot, about that long. And I emptied out the contents of a chili into it, and the whole lot grew. It was really cool. And then I tried the same thing again with peppers, and quite a lot of that grew as well. But the peppers didn't really seem to want to get much bigger than about that. However, they did not taste good. They had a lot more flavour than these ones. That's going to be another thing for the future, I suppose, at some point. That as much as you can grow yourself, you really should do. When this cooks down, a lot of that green colour is going to disappear a bit. And it's tempting to look at that and think, oh yeah, that's perfect, yes. Glad that you've got your brown bits, your red bits, and your green bits. That is when you want to eat it. No, you need to cook it a bit more. You need to cook those peppers. That's where they're going to taste really good. Whilst we're at it, the chilies, on the other hand, I don't want to put those in too early, because they'll end up just falling apart and disintegrating. Falling apart and disintegrating. Yep, both of them. Absolutely. The bit that might be considered as a little bit of a luxury will be the Naga chili. There you go, Naga chili. I've only got this because I had it given to me. Because it is very, very hot. But it's also just a bit on the expensive side. Oh, gosh, that's good. That's really good. Tea's gone cold. Yep. I just had a little drink of milk. I always do that. Whatever I'm having a spoon of, whether it be mustard or naga chili, I'll clean the spoon off. But that time I left a bit too much on there. So it's just a bit more than really I can, not comfortably handle, but carry on talking afterwards with. Right, okay, it's 10 o'clock, so I'm not going to be going too much longer with this, but my plan is, I know I mentioned this before about doing this week's video. I want to do much more things like this, but I've also decided that every Sunday should be a live stream night. If you're up for that, 9 o'clock every Sunday. What do you think? I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to have one every night. I can't handle that. I haven't got the time. I've got other things to do. And so have you. But every Sunday, yeah. Oh, gosh. Right, where was we up to then? Let's go. Right, yeah, that cooking challenge thing. Oh, hang on. Oh, quite a few comments just there. Brilliant. Home-baked sourdough. I'm impressed, says Stratospherian. Your kids will thank you when they reach an age where they understand your thought. Well, they're not far off it anyway. They just don't really worry about it too much, which obviously they wouldn't do. Made my own tomato soup one time at Christmas, says Carl Davis. Can't remember how I did it. Think I watched Gordon Ramsay. It was really nice. Easier to buy it from a tin, though. But is it as good from a tin? No, but it was really nice anyway. Cuppa soups are dried additives with fake flavour that you add water to, says Greenwood. Yeah, I know. Cuppa soups are another one of those things that are used for slimming purposes, aren't they? Because you think, well, look, it's just a bit of powder. The rest of it's water. How can it possibly be bad for you? I think this is one of the issues that people have when they're trying to go on some sort of diet, is they cut out a whole load of stuff that's actually not bad for them and replace it with the stuff that is bad for them. And as long as they don't eat too much of it, then they might lose a bit of weight. But it'll make you feel very good. Not that I know from experience, because I've never done it. A cooking challenge with you and Boaty in the kitchen, etc., would be very amusing for the viewers. All that bickering, etc. Yeah, it would be. It would definitely be exactly that. There is a future for Mustard and Boaty. We all know it, but it's just not going to be just yet. Not until we've actually made it somewhere by ourselves, I reckon. Rule of thumb, says Carl Davis, for eating healthy. If it walks or grows in the ground, it's good. Yeah, unless you start processing it too much. And as little processed as possible, says Greenwood, such as seeds, good. Seed oil equals bad. Yes, exactly. I mean, you'd think, oh, it's the same stuff, isn't it? But it's not. It's not the same stuff at all. It may be made from it, but it's the process and the things that the chemicals that are used that cause the problems. What's he called now? No, Dr. Carl Berg, is it? Dr. Carl Berg, I think that's his name. Or Eric Berg. Anyway, a guy I've been watching on YouTube quite a bit recently. He's fantastic. He's American, which for many will make you a little bit mistrusting of him. But either the whole world's kind of lying to us about food, or he's the best conspiracy theorist ever. Correct. The opposite, farts make you egg. That's not quite what I meant, but very good, well done. Only have olive oil and proper butter, says Carl Davis. Yes, exactly. DJ Palsy P is here. Whoop whoop, priest do, whoop whoop. No, I've still got a little thing actually. DJ Palsy sent me something last week, and I got around to just editing the video. It's not going to be a long video anyway, but I was so confused by it that I didn't really know whether to actually post it. I don't fart, of course, but if I were a farter, I would find the whole that I find whole eggs, boiled, fried, make me fart, but mixed up eggs, scrambled omelette didn't make me fart. Or don't. Yep, real butter here. I've just switched to lard instead of seed oil. Yes. Vegetable oil is really bad, says Carl. It seems like the majority of people are actually understanding this now, which is a good thing because they can carry on making vegetable oil and we can just use it in old cheap diesels like I've got instead, which used to do that kind of thing. Many people used to do this thing where you buy vegetable oil to run your old diesel car on, and then they just started putting the price of the stuff up. So now it's more expensive to buy vegetable oil than it is diesel. There's a question. How much more toxic do you reckon diesel is than vegetable oil to cook with? I've grown chilies, says the Greenwood, and was thinking about doing it again this year. Very easy in a flat if you have sunny windowsill and you choose a bush of dwarf variety. I didn't even pay for them, did I? Because I just scraped the seeds out. I scraped the seeds out, let them dry out, and then planted them. My mum lives on the Isle of Wight, says Carl. She grows loads of stuff. Chilies, tomatoes, etc. Always seem warmer all year round there. Well, it would do, wouldn't it? I suppose. Being at the bottom of the country. Peppers make you burp, but burp sounds like the word child. Would you use belch? A bit strong. There's nothing wrong with the word burp. Here's a tip. Don't get a chili around the willy, nor deep heat for that matter. Doesn't worry me. Sunday sounds good. Sunday live, yes, and Sunday live, yes. So we're looks like everybody, almost everybody's up for that. That's good. That's nice. Gosh, yes. Oh, right, let's put that away. So what I'm basically going to do now, I've finished with this. I'm just going to leave it to simmer for a while. Here's another interesting thing, and everyone will have experienced this, that you can be really hungry and you think about something you'd like to eat. And if it takes any longer than 15 or 20 minutes to actually cook it, you don't really feel like eating it by the time you're finished. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I'm going to say it's a good thing because we all eat a bit too much anyway, don't we? And if you're cooking stuff like this and you don't feel like eating it, it's still, it just means you can save it till later on. I probably will though, but I want to leave that to simmer for probably at least half an hour, and I'd be very surprised if I had much more than half a bowl. But yeah. Oh, I was naughty yesterday. Yesterday, I did eat something that I'm not supposed to do. That's toast, but it's the first toast I've had in over a week. And the thing is, in moderation, when you don't do too much of a particular thing, 2 slices of toast in 1 week is definitely not what you would call too much, is it? But it didn't half make me feel guilty. I didn't feel bad about it because there's not enough there really to cause a problem. And 2 slices of toast won't fill you up and make you feel all bloated. Whereas what I would have done before would have been 4 slices, maybe even 5, and then you get a problem. But I went out quite early yesterday to go and meet Steve to do some recording, and incidentally, this live stream is an interruption of that video editing process. I thought a change is as good as a rest, so why not do that? And I meant to do some eggs before I set off out, but I didn't get around to it. I set off out. I got to where I was going to. I went and met him in Prestwich, Whitefield, sorry, and I just thought I'll pop into Tesco and see if I can get something. And I couldn't satisfy my my need to have something that wasn't really bad. So I ended up just buying a block of cheese and ate a piece of it about that big. And that was enough. When I got home later on, that's when I was really hungry. Into the afternoon, it was about 4:30. So I had 2 pieces of toast. And then in the evening, I was going to cook this, but I didn't get around to it. So I just had some nuts. And that's all I had yesterday. And this makes me think that surely this whole food thing is, I'm proving it to myself. I've just been overdoing it, eating way too much. I can't eat this late. Have a good night's sleep, says Carol. I'm hungry now. Have a glass of water. No, have a glass of milk. Water's boring. I've got a feeling that people drink too much water actually, rather than not enough. Anyway, right, so I think indeed that maybe this live stream will come to an end, because I don't really want to be doing marathon live streams. I just want to pop in and do a bit of something and then carry on with what I'm doing, because I'm going to sort of traditionally on a Sunday night, I'm up till nearly 3 o'clock in the morning editing. And I know that Boaty will be doing a live stream at 11 o'clock. Well, sadly, I'm not really likely to be in for that at all, because I've got an awful lot to do. I might just be able to pop in a little bit. Yeah, 11 o'clock here. But thank you very much for joining me tonight. And a super big thank you to Stratospherian. Oh, I actually just checked the name there, because I thought it'd be really embarrassing to get your name wrong. But looking down to check the name is just as embarrassing, isn't it? Thank you very much for the gifted memberships tonight. Hopefully that will be the start of more members on this channel. Thank you very much. Hope you liked the live stream, and if you did, do press that thingy up there, because it all helps, doesn't it? There we go. See you later. Bye all. Bye all. Bye bye bye. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night.